Greetings and welcome back to yet another episode of the Daily Run. And in today's video, we are playing as Maggie. What a run. All kidding aside though, this run really wasn't all that impressive. We were at 0.3 speed for basically the majority of the first two floors, and even later on when I got some speed upgrades, I think the cap was at 1. So this is the wrong kind of challenge, and oftentimes I say that every daily that has a challenge, it usually consists of a fun, interesting challenge, even if maybe it is a bit annoying to play as because these are daily runs and they are competitive in nature. So when you put something like this up, you can expect a lot of people will try to play it, and at the same time a lot of people will quit, and in the other case there will be a lot of people who just won't give up. And I don't feel like this is the right kind of challenge, because it is really mostly patience and trying not to get a room that will mess you over. For example, the end of this particular floor actually has Blighted Ovum in it, and if that enemy catches up to you and if there is no slowing effect, you're pretty much gonna die. Of course, we have the stopwatch. So as soon as we get hit once, then it will trigger and it will slow, and then we'll be actually able to outrun him. But for that first initial hit, it's gonna be inevitable, unless of course Broken Stopwatch comes into hand. So it's more like a play against chance. Like sure, at least you might say, well, but then again, everybody has the same seed, which means that everyone has the same outcome. So if he's slowed, he's gonna be slowed for everyone, and if he's not gonna be slowed, then everybody is gonna get hit, because like I said, it is unavoidable damage. Of course, that's not the problem, but the problem comes in the fact that maybe someone finds a Spirit Heart, or maybe spends his money on a bomb and just gets a lucky second Secret Room, and that can be the difference between someone maybe getting that Devil Deal on the second floor and between someone not getting it in the first place. So really, what can you do about that? Because it is literally unavoidable damage, and there's nothing you can do about it. Of course, if the odds were that, or at least if the dice rolls actually turned out into that way. And not just that, just being at 0.3 speed in general, this allows you to dodge in the majority of cases. So you either have to play very preventatively, or you really have to know what you're doing if you want to try to get through it. The best luck you're gonna have on succeeding in this run is really just try to get a few speed upgrades, a few range upgrades, and at the very least, at least a few damage upgrades, because that's really gonna be the only way you're gonna get through this. I wouldn't even call this so annoying after the first 2 or 3 floors, but later on we got Eve's Mascara, which kind of made the run a little bit slower. Now, of course, I shouldn't have picked it up in the first place. I should have just left it there, and I should have just sucked it up with the Void. It would have been the much more obvious play, but I decided to go against that, because I just felt like picking it up is gonna be humorous. It kind of fits the bill of the run, just something slow and maybe not as inspiring, and I just figured, maybe in this case I should do it. And just to see where it goes from here. And it actually didn't turn out to be that bad of a choice, because we were so slow in the majority of cases. It was very beneficial to us that we were actually able to kill a lot of our enemies in only 2 or maybe sometimes 3 shots. And that does allow us to, I would say, stay on top of things and just reduce the encounter rate that we actually are in the room. Because the longer we are in the room, the more chances there are of us actually getting hit. And if you only aim 2 well-placed shots, we can take out an enemy, and that makes our jobs a lot easier. But okay, so let's say that we go beyond that and go a little bit, I would say, further than that in the past. And at a certain point, I had, I think, like 13 cents, and I went to the shop, and there was Plan C in there, and I just bought it. And you might be saying, why did you buy that item? I mean, to some extent, I could rationalize it as saying, well, first of all, I don't want this item to show up in any other shop, and I still had enough money for the arcade, which means that basically buying it at that point is just to remove it out of the pool. But that's not really the truth. I mean, to a certain extent it is, because that is the real benefit of doing that play, but that was not the reason why I picked it up. Honestly, I picked it up because I wanted an easy way out. If there was a hard room which I couldn't escape, I don't want the enemies to take me. I'm just using that item, I'm taking those fuckers down with me, and that was really the only thing I wanted to do. Sadly, later on I did find a better spacebar item, or at least not a better one, but I did find the remote detonator, which gave me 5 bombs, and I figured, it's a better one. At this point I already have some speed, so maybe this run isn't going to be as tragic as I thought, but having a Plan C in this case, which was actually a Plan B, definitely felt, I would say, a bit liberating, and it kind of gave me the power to go throughout the run. And who would think that maybe having an option, a way out in this case, is actually going to be something that's going to help me get through the run, even if nothing else, for some humorous reasons. And I hope you do see the humor in that. I don't really intend to say that you should try to look for a way out, but killing yourself, because that would be wrong, and also don't think that's the right case. But this is a game, right? And I'm just trying to stay, I would say, in spirit of what I'm trying to achieve here. But basically, as we were going through the game, of course, at 0.8 speed, and even though we had a lot of damage, our turn delay was really kind of whack. The floors took a long time. It took me like 10 minutes per floor. Some rooms like this one actually took me in total like 2 minutes to get through, and at a certain point the door opens because this guy just doesn't want to pop up, so that's very annoying. There was also a sacrifice room on that floor, so of course you have to play at it as well if you want to maximize your score, and that's exactly what I did. So I went in, I fought the lamp, and you saw me skipping like 3 floors in total there, but that doesn't really matter because nothing really interesting happened. I mean, sure, at a certain point I got Eden's Blessing, I got Magic Mush, I got Jacob's Ladder, but the round was so slow overall, I feel like there's really nothing to be gained from this if you just want to see where it takes you. It really wasn't all that strategic, it was just kind of tedious. So at the end, we did finish the run, we did rank in like the top 25, which is, I would say, more because we just patience it out as opposed to just playing well. I feel a lot of people will just end up quitting or dying early on because they don't really care about this run. I don't blame them because nobody enjoys an unfun daily, but I still felt like to a certain extent it was a little bit challenging and it was a bit exciting. It was something different, and if for nothing else, I feel like I enjoyed it only for that. We did get to the end, so at least now I can say, well, at least I beat this daily and I actually managed to get to the end. So that's something, right? So with that said, I hope you enjoyed this one, guys, and I hope to see you next time.